Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Coast to Coast, and we are joined, as always, by Oscar Allen, Jeremy Hunt. How about Jayden Hunt? Who's Jeremy Hunt?
Jeremy Hunt.
Have you met him yet?
No, I haven't. Who is he?
I don't know. He might come along as well. Maybe Jayden's bringing him.
So Jayden's on today?
I reckon he is. Yeah.
Awesome. That's exciting.
Again, he hasn't been here. People do get lost on the way to the studio, Oz, but we have got a reasonable show to get through, and time is always an issue. Mm-hmm. Wow. What an absolute carnage-fueled RAC derby. Number 56 would be remembered for all the wrong reasons. Mm-hmm. My phone was buzzing, do you know that? So, Simo was calling me at halftime saying, mate, I know you haven't done any laps in 5 years, but any chance you can get out there and play a wing?
Look, it was getting bad, but I don't think it was ever getting that bad. We had some blokes running around with half a leg, and they were still going all right.
So, I'm going to go best on ground. And it's so close to being Liam Ryan for going back out there. But I have a feeling that there were a few in his boat.
Yes, there were.
So I'm not going to give it to Liam, although I don't know how he limps off the field when he's almost smashed his head on the extremely hard
holding his knee after smacking his head.
I don't know how that works physically, but it happened. I'm going to give it, it's left field, and this is not a Gold Coast podcast just yet, but I'm giving it to David Swallow.
Okay.
So he's played 200 games. He's played, I think he started in the second ever Gold Coast game in 2011.
Didn't make the first game, wasn't picked.
Is that right?
No, I don't know. I'm asking you.
Well, I don't
You're
know.
the one with the story.
Yeah, that's correct. Well, he didn't play. So some of the names that were rolling around in this initial team for the Gold Coast Suns, like Gazza was there.
Yep.
Brandon Matera, Charlie Dixon.
Yep.
You got
Jayden Hunt.
Carmichael, I think Jayden's brother or Jeremy's brother was playing. Campbell Brown.
Yeah.
Like all these players who are now since moved on. Everyone has moved on. Everyone has jumped ship except this guy.
Yeah.
Maybe to the detriment of the West, because I'm sure at some point
we would have tried to get him back.
Either Freo or West Coast were calling and say any danger, but you've got to give him some kudos for sticking it out, playing 200 games, the first 200 gamer, and not only that, they've beaten the reigning premiers on their home deck. Would have been scenes up there.
Yeah.
So well done, David. Absolutely spewing he didn't want to come home at any point. The only Gold Coast son to stick it out, and you're a West Australian.
I love it. It's interesting the fact that there's them and GWS, and you look at some of the guys of less GWS and what a side they'd be. Like you have Treloar, Jeremy Cameron, Jack Steele. Like to name those three, they're all superstars already. Be interesting if they would be the players they are now if they never left. And my initial thoughts is they wouldn't be. But we can't deal with hypotheticals. We're going to deal with real life right now.
So very sensible.
They are, it is interesting, and it is. I mean, staying there in the period probably after Gary Ablett left, it got pretty dark for a period of time there, right? Like they were struggling to sell any tickets, and he's been the leader pretty much throughout. So massive congratulations to him.
We gave him some big touch-ups early in their career. Do you remember what the top three were in that draft? Because we finished last and should have got the number one pick, but Gold Coast implementation.
We would have had Gaff, eh?
Yeah. When did he go?
He went pick three.
Four is correct. Can you name the three that were ahead of him?
I'm guessing Dave Swallow.
Yeah.
Day, the big...
Very good.
Sam Day.
Very good. There was one ahead of him. Day was 3.
Good player or...?
Yeah, he's a good player, but his body wouldn't hold up.
Good player, body wouldn't hold... O'Meara?
No, Harley Bennell.
Ooh, okay, yep.
So would we have taken Gaff at number 1 is the big question. Don't have a recruiter on hand. I don't know if Jeremy Hunt's a recruiter. You could answer it for him.
Probably not. Dave Swallow, WA boy. He went pick 1. They probably would have taken him.
Fair point.
Sorry, Gaffy. My best on ground, not football related at all. So I'm back at uni at the moment. And
what are you studying, big fella?
Business law and marketing. So I've got a business law and a econ and stats unit. And my best on ground goes to my tutor, who is the same age as me and her. Everyone else is 18. It's like a first year intro to uni course. And we just talk about the TV show Succession, where season 4 has just started. So she is currently getting me through uni at the moment.
You're doing no work on it whatsoever?
I'm getting there. Yeah. I'm getting there with uni. But she keeps gives me something to talk about. And no one else wants to talk about the show with me. So yeah, thank you to her.
Let's get back on the footy bandwagon here and talk about this opening quarter on Sunday's Derby. It was the highest scoring opening quarter in Derby history.
Wow.
You might have had something to do with that, big fella.
Yeah.
Talk about the build-up and then talk about how you had on a string.
Yeah, it was a good start. I think collectively, Jack kicked 2 goals, 1, and the goal he missed was a set shot from 25 out, which you normally put in the book for him. So,
well, you did say he was the best shot in the team last week.
I do still think he is. We were flowing offensively, we were playing well, but so were Freo, and that's just the nature of, I think, AFL footy at the moment when the whips are cracking and the ball is bouncing end to end, you're going to score a lot and the oppo's going to score a lot. So you look at the top teams like Collingwood, Melbourne and the likes, they're all quite similar as well. So it was a pleasing opening start. It was disappointing. I felt like we had the ascendancy and we went in at 1 point ahead or something. So we didn't have a great advantage, but that's the nature of footy. And yep, after then, second quarter was obviously...
No, we're not getting onto there
bit
yet.
of a letdown.
No. We'll get there. So like, what a feeling it must be. You talk about watching derbies throughout your entire upbringing, big West Coast turbo.
Yeah.
You are the man there for a good 20-minute stretch where the ball's coming to you and you're grabbing it. Talk to us about the emotions that would have been flowing when it started to heat up and you were just on one. Yeah. And then eventually you had to come off the ground because you were too knackered.
Yeah, I was tired. It is weird because you always put yourself in a frame of mind. What happens when you're in this position and you're going really well? You kick 3 in the first quarter and then it's just hard to replicate. Like,
did you have 3-2?
3-1, yeah.
Gotcha.
So I was just in my mind, you don't want to think this way, but you start forward thinking, I know I could kick 12 today. like 3 plus 3 plus 3. That's 12.
It's instinct, yeah.
Yeah, it is funny one. I actually respect guys that start games off well and can continue to play all day at that level. Like, it is a really difficult thing to do because obviously the other team's going to make adjustments on how they're playing you, which I thought me and Alex Pearce had a pretty good battle on the day.
Well, there's a lot of pushing and shoving between you and Alex that got televised.
Yeah.
So I did want to ask you, like, are you shaking hands and being friendly after the game straight away, or because it's your direct opponent, it's a little bit more, game mate, and then move on? Don't want to spend too much time discussing and chatting and being friendly with you because we had such a
heated. Yeah. I think it's actually the other way around. Like, you have a high level of respect. Like, you don't necessarily like playing on each other, but you have a high level of respect for one another. So the game not being as close to the end probably allows it. The heat goes out of it a little bit. But the game finishes and you turn, you go, and I remember me and you both just said at the same time, that was a great battle. Well done, mate. Like, you fought really hard today.
What are his strengths that he brings to the table that makes him hard to play on?
Well, he's very niggly, so he tries to get in your head quite a bit, and he's a good leader of the footy club, so that's something. He's very vocal. He's letting you know about it as well, and he is more of a one-on-one defender, so he plays quite close to your back shoulder, so he doesn't give you a whole lot of space, so most of the day you've got someone whacking you in the backside, which can be frustrating at times, but as we say, that's the nature of being a key position player, and that's why he's a good defender.
Duggo's kick an absolute Barry Crocker, but you made the most of it, didn't you?
Nah, that was a good kick. Duggo's pulled that to me. Like, we were chatting before.
Yes, but there's no height on it. You've had to barge through the opponent to sort of get to it.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Thanks, Duggo. I'm really happy with Duggo. Someone else in that situation could have gone back and had a shot, so thanks, mate.
Okay, so Shuey's the first to go.
Yeah, let's get into it, eh?
So his first quarter, he was absolutely electric. He's had 5 of his 6 disposals were contested, 3 clearances, 3 score involvements, the best on ground so far to the derby. And he had the first clearance of the game, matched up against Luke Jackson, which was a very interesting coaching manoeuvre from...
so Luke Jackson was in centre square at the first bounce, playing mid-side mid.
Yes, he was on Boots.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
Do you know anything?
No, because Bailey and Darcy fell to the ground, Boots had a clear run, and Luke Jackson just wasn't able to stay in touch with Boots. Yeah, and then the free kick to Jack. So he goes down. It's some of the best sponsoring positioning of the board behind him that he absolutely thumps with his hand. Did you see that?
Yeah, when he punches it.
Yes, I didn't know what Purcell and Kelly do, but I do now. They're a recruiting company, and that's the best. That's money well spent.
Yep, perfect.
Talk to us about the disappointment of the skipper going down and how you feel for him, how he's been around the club so far.
It is a strange one where whilst you're playing, you're not sure who's out there or who's not. So you know to a certain extent, but there was a point of the game where there was a centre bounce, and I saw Elijah Hewitt in there, and I thought, wasn't he the sub? And I looked across at the bench and only saw 3, and then I was doing the math, and I remember saying to Jack, who got subbed out? Like, during the game, we had no clue what was happening, and this has happened before when we played Collingwood, I think, in 2021, and Scott Pendlebury was a laid out for Collingwood, and Gov was a laid out for us. And I remember I was playing on Darcy Moore, and he went to me, oh, Gov's not playing, is he? And I went, nah. And he goes, yeah, Pendles is out as well. And I was like, oh, right. So sometimes when you're out there, you actually don't know what's going on. So that was one of those situations on the weekend. But he's a pro. He's the leader of the footy club, and he is that because of how he handles himself through adversity. And although it's been a frustrating week for him, and I'm sure he's angry and he wants to get to the bottom of what's going on with his body right now, he's handled himself like a true professional. And I don't have any inside information, but it seems at the moment it's on the lower end of things, which is a positive.
Gov's getting a scan today. This is Tuesday that we're recording this.
Yeah.
High hammy, looks like a shocker. And basically that second quarter is where Freo started to get on top. Whether you want to put it down to straight injuries or the way you played, Oz, that's up to you. But they've kicked 4, and Eagles a bit wasteful with 0-5.
Yeah, I don't think injuries were involved, but I would also say inefficiency in the forward half. There were some things we could have adjusted around the ball, but we kicked 0 goals 5, and there was probably 2 or 3 that we should have put in the book. So I think that is a big difference in the second quarter. Obviously, we didn't play the way we would have liked to, but in the end of the day, as a forward, your job is to kick goals, and we couldn't do that correctly in that second quarter.
I want one comment from you before we go into more individuals. What were you thinking when you realised the injury toll and that there was no bench and you were having to run out an entire game?
I remember asking Kof, our head S&C, at halftime, does this mean I get to play the game out? Because I always get annoyed when he pulls me off, and I always it's bad, but I've been wanting to play out games as much as I can, and the club's been great with managing me. And he just smiled and goes, yeah, mate, you might have to. When we look at the bench, and I think it was Liam on the bench, and he was hobbled as it was, and there were some other guys out there who were hobbled as well. So in the heat of the moment, you're not really thinking about it. And Simo had a cracking quote. The last thing he said to us at 3/4 time is, remember when you played juniors and you'd hate coming off? Well done. None of you are coming off. Go for your lives. And it was quite humorous at the time. And I thought we did stick it out, and we fought our asses off really the whole day. They got on top of us in the last 10, 15 minutes, but 40 points isn't a representative of what that game was whatsoever. And I think anyone watching would agree with me.
Do you find it frustrating that this side, you're included in it last year, are just continuing to break new ground in the AFL in terms of either most injuries in an entire season, and now you're just going, hold my beer, how about we do it in one game?
Yeah, it is a good point, but at the end of the day, it's a real cliche, but it is what it is. And the nature of footy, it's week to week, and we've got to play Melbourne this week, who are probably the informed side of the competition right now, or one of them. And we can't feel sorry for ourselves, and we haven't felt sorry for ourselves in reviewing the game. There was obviously some things we didn't get right, and that's why we lost the game, not because we had injuries. So we're focusing on that, and we'll respond, bounce back. It is annoying, but it's the nature of footy, and we just got to get on with it.
Cripper's injury for mine would be the worst one I'd want. A broken ankle sounds incredibly painful.
Unfortunately, worst of a lot. I think he's booked in for surgery, so prayers out to him. Hopefully he's going all right.
Dear me. Okay. You spoken to him?
I have, yeah. He seemed in okay spirits, but...
As in post-game, would you call him?
He was already gone, yeah. I think he went to hospital pretty much straight after the game, so I gave him a buzz and he said he was going okay. A bit miffed with everything that was going on.
Sure.
Understandable, but yeah.
Alex Witherden, one of the gutsiest players of the day.
Yes.
I don't know whether it's his rib or head that got absolutely shook up. He looked in reasonable spirits Monday morning, which was so pleasing. I mean, we've seen some head knocks go pear-shaped here at this club.
Yeah.
That was the most pleasing aspect of seeing him well.
He seems to be going really well, so he's probably one that is on the really, really minor scale, so all things being considered.
Which seems crazy.
Head knocks aren't things to be mucked around with, but it seems like he hopefully will only be protocols, miss a week, and then probably hopefully back soon.
Looked hectic, though.
It did look crazy. It was pretty brave.
Yeah. And then Liam Ryan. Wow. That was so high. And this is every time he gets up, I've got heart and mouth type scenarios, especially on that Optus deck. So, you spoken to Liam yet?
I have. He actually seems okay as well. I'm not sure the extent of his injury. There was still... I think he's in a bit of a backlog at the moment, so the physios and doctors are getting paid double.
Like the Woolies Deli, you got to get the ticket?
Yeah, wait in line for your turn to speak to the doctor. So I actually have no information on Liam, but hopefully it's all good.
I'm not after inside info. I'm asking whether you've spoken to these guys.
Yeah, that most of the guys seem happy and okay because of the nature of some of the other injuries. So if you're the only one that gets hurt on the weekend, it's all pats on the back, oh mate, you're going all right. Whereas if you got a sore ankle or something this week, you're not really getting much sympathy.
The chest and knee scenario is going to be the big dagger. So this kid's hardly played any footy in the last borderline 4 years.
Yeah.
And 3 games at AFL level. You want him to try and find his feet and get used to the pace. And now he's going to have a few weeks out with a knee. You saw he got very Cripper-like, where the Docker tackled him and got caught up underneath.
Yeah.
More incredible poor luck.
Yes. I think he'll miss a couple of weeks. Yeah, I'm not too sure the nature again of the injury, but he's probably one that I really do feel for. Not necessarily because he's got the worst injury, and it's not comparing oranges and apples. Like, I'm not saying one injury is worse than the other, but it is frustrating for him. He hasn't had a clean run at it, and he's just trying to get his career off the ground, which I'm sure he will, and I'm glad he's got a couple games under his belt, and he'll be for the better once he comes back fit and healthy.
On the better side of things, let's talk the third quarter. That was one of the proudest quarters of footy to watch from a supporter's perspective, and I'm sure I wouldn't be alone in echoing that statement. Mm-hmm. How did it feel out there? Like, it seemed palpable, the boys sort of understanding what was being accomplished, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Understanding the backs were against the wall and you were all rising to the challenges in almost every quality measurable metric that you would also count or think meaningful. Talk to me about what that galvanising sort of moment was like on field.
We're just trying to establish an identity as a footy club right now, and on field it's the way that people and other teams and people perceive you, and we're working really hard to be known as a side that's contested, strong and tough to go up against. All the good sides, you don't want to go up against them because you know how physically strong they are and how they don't ever relent to your pressure, right? That all day it's going to be really tough for them. So that's something that we've been trying to do. We've been trying to establish an identity, and I think the way we've gone about our footy the last 2 weeks, we've won contested possessions the last 2 weeks. It's probably something we haven't done for a long, long period of time. So really proud of that. Third quarter, start of the fourth, proud of the whole game. Second quarter is probably a little bit of, I don't know, query on could we have done things better. As we spoke about, it's probably more to do with the efficiency inside the forward half. But
it was sad it's back-to-back 2 quarters or second quarters. It would have been a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, but proud of how we've gone about it the last couple of weeks.
I agree. All right, give me some votes then. No, before you give me votes, let's talk some rising stars. Yeah. Ruben Jimby won it, and he's displaced you as the last Eagle to take out the mantle.
Yeah, that is disappointing, but glad to hand it to someone else. No, he is a superstar. He's going to be, I don't want to blow up his head. It'll be impossible because he's such a humble kid, and we had him on this podcast a couple of weeks ago, and look at the way his career trajectory has risen since then. I dare say he's going to be a long-term player for this footy club and at an incredibly high level.
He just fits so seamlessly in a CBD structure. Game 1 AFL, 19 years of age. Like, not many will do that.
Leads the competition in tackles. Is so predictable. Doesn't make mistakes.
Does Ashcroft play in the guts as often?
Yeah, but he's got players around him. Like the players around him are, and they're at a different stage where we are as a footy club as well. So it's slightly different. I'm not going to get into the rising star conversation till later in the year, but really happy for him. He deserves it, and he works his backside off. So good on him.
All right, give me some votes, Oz. I'm going to go first.
Okay. Yep.
So the 3 votes I'm going to give to Tim Kelly.
Cool.
That's back-to-back 3 voters for Tim Kelly, so he's finding some form.
He'd be leading the BNF right now, I think.
I think that's a comfortable assumption from you. Don't have any of him stats in front of me. That's what the eye test says.
Yes.
Now, my 2 is quite controversial. I'm going to give you 2 votes. Do I think you were the second best Eagle on the field? Probably not. But I know you're not going to vote for yourself.
So where do you think I was? The third best Eagle?
I'm going to give you 1. Yeah. I'll give you 2 because you're not going to vote for yourself. I know what you like. I know what you like.
Sweet.
So I'm giving you a vote, but you can have one of my votes.
Okay, so I got 2.
Correct.
Sweet.
And I'm giving TB a 3rd.
Yeah.
Not only did he smash his face open and that incredibly good-looking man was bleeding and not looking as good from the face, he was a big reason why we didn't hemorrhage more goals, particularly when Gov went down, but some of his intercepting possession rates and stats that I definitely don't have in front of me were exceptional, top-notch. He's getting a vote. Give me your 3.
I've gone different to you, so I went Kelly 3. I thought he was the best in the day. I went Gaffey, 2 votes. I thought that was his best performance in probably a couple of years, actually.
I agree, but you took out the vote, so I couldn't put him in there.
Yep, and I went 1 vote, Ruben Jimby. I think it's time to acknowledge him in this scenario of the most important award that we give out every year, the votes MVP. So I'll give him the 1 vote. Other people were stiff. I thought it was a pretty good collective performance from everyone, but they're the 3 I'm going with.
I agree with Gaffey. I think he worked himself into the game magnificently, got better as it wore on, and I think with no substitutes, he was always going to be the best Eagle to rise to the occasion.
Coaches' votes. Do you know the 3 West Coast players who got coaches' votes?
Absolutely not.
TK got 7. Sarong,
7?
Sarong got 10, so TK got 7.
Mate, not a bad effort from Sarong to get 2 Roscoes and Allens in, how old is he?
He's 22.
Unreal.
Yeah, he's going to be a superstar. So, unfortunately, he already is a superstar.
Okay, so TK, who are the other Eagles?
Bung got 1, and I got 1. So I'm wondering, was it Simo that gave me a vote or JL?
Who knows?
Wait and see.
Yeah.
So, do you want to quickly touch on the Waffle Watch before we get Jayden Hunt in this room?
I agree. We won't be too long on this one because it was the final preseason game. We've gone 3-0 in the Waffle preseason matchups.
Let's go.
Claiming Wizard Cup champions.
Yeah, love it.
So enjoyed that one. Best players. I've heard that I didn't watch a minute. Have you watched any of it?
So we were training. We had our captains run the day before,
Roger.
but all reports, Greg Clark, very, very good again. Luke Edwards coming back to the player he always has been, a smart, skillful ball user.
So he would have played a full game now.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. In the guts.
On the wing, I believe.
Okay.
And Connor West was tagged and broke the shackles.
Nice.
So he performed really well. Also, I believe Zane True's really coming into his own again. And Rothy, first game back, so some really promising sides.
How good is that? Great to see Rothy back. And we've got our first game this weekend against South Fremantle down there at Fremantle Oval.
Who's on the commentary booth, mate?
I am. I'm looking forward to it because we're going to have like 7 new Eagles I've never seen from this carnage injury list. I'm going to butcher it hard.
I can't wait to listen. Hopefully you guys tune in as well. It should be a great watch. The boys have been working really hard, as obviously we just spoke about. They're 3-0 in their performances so far, so hopefully they can continue that and get off the Waffle season to a great start.
Great to have Hunty join us in the studio. Welcome to Coast to Coast. Have you been a long-time, first time of the podcast itself?
Yeah, long-time listener. I reckon 10 years now.
Yeah.
Words travelled over in the east.
Yeah, that's complete BS because I went to him on the podcast. So he goes, "Yeah, what are you on it or something?" yeah, mate. I've actually ran it for the last 4 years, so thanks for that. Welcome. It's good to have you in the studio. You probably didn't know this was a room, hey? We don't use it for much except for this.
Yeah, no idea. Good to know that was your dull voice I've been listening to all this.
Yeah, there you go.
Good,
Perfect.
How good. Mate, you're we'll speed through it all a little bit. You're from some footballing royalty though. We did a bit of research. Was it uncle and great uncle some VFL legends?
Yeah. So uncle was played for the D's, wore the number 29, which I inherited, which was nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Did you boot someone out of that to get it?
What's that? No, it was free at the time.
How handy.
And then I think it was my great uncle was in the Collingwood Four Flags back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Not too bad.
So, did your old man play footy as well, or was the uncle on your mum's side?
Uncle was on mum's side. The great uncle was on dad's side though.
Right.
Dad did play, but he sort of was similar to me. Grew really late. I think St Kilda actually asked him to train. He thought he was about 18.
Really?
And at the end, they asked for his real age, and he said he's like 28. So
right. So they put a line through him pretty quick.
They sent him packing, but yeah.
So we've got here. You didn't play any football under 18s level side. You didn't play championship or anything like that.
It's your boy Oz.
Talk to us about your draft profile because I was pretty similar. I didn't do anything until my draft year either. You just mentioned obviously you grew a little bit later. Is that pretty much where most of that's come from?
Yeah. My story is a bit strange. Didn't play a TAC Cup back in Victoria or let alone state or anything like that.
Wow.
I was always really short. Didn't really grow until I was 18, so missed all those sort of programs and then just played school footy in year 12 and I grew like a crazy amount. It was like 6 inches in about 6 months.
Yeah, right.
And just started year 12 so much faster and bigger and everything. And I was lucky enough to sort of have a few guys that ended up going top 10 in my school team. So recruiters were watching them and I caught their eye and yeah.
So who was in your school team then? Mentioned you had a couple of good players.
Yeah, so Josh Kelly and Christian Salem.
Fair players.
They can play.
Not too bad.
Oh, so you and Christian obviously knew each other for a long time.
Yeah.
Drafted together, I assume.
Yeah.
Were you surprised going into the draft process that you were going to get picked up? Because guys not playing tack footy or anything, it's like, I'm pushing shit uphill really, you know?
Yeah. Well, it literally all happened in the space of a month. Our old footy coach, Robert Shaw, ex-AFL player and coach and stuff, he just literally came up to me one day in the library and said, you wouldn't believe this, I've been on the phone all morning with AFL clubs about you. And I literally told him to get staffed. I walked off because I thought he was just making a gag. And then he called me back. I've never seen him so serious. And he said, "Nah, mate, like, if you do everything right for the next 3 weeks, there's a sneaky 1% chance you'll get picked up." And I still thought it was a pipe dream. And yeah, then I was doing sort of individual fitness testing with clubs on the sort of on the down low and didn't really tell any of my friends because I still didn't think it would happen. And
yeah.
Then somehow got picked up. Yeah.
Well, he's a bit of a tennis guru back in the day, I'm told. Played more tennis than footy.
Really?
And he claimed to be the best table tennis player at Melbourne by a considerable margin. Assuming you stand by that.
Oh, I was early days, but I think the boys put in a lot more table work than me. So they've caught up a bit. But yeah, I'll take it on natural talent.
Do you give him lessons downstairs here or what?
Not yet. I haven't actually ventured onto the table yet, but it'll be coming.
Gaffy is very good. On to my next topic. Another sport Gaffy is also very good at. He's a good golfer, but rumours are you might have nicked him as the number one golfer at the footy club. Do you think that's the case as well?
Not too sure about Gaffy. I haven't played with him.
Yeah, played with Yowie though.
Yeah, played with him.
And you're better than Yowie?
Yeah, got him.
Okay, so he's the best golfer at the club.
Well, Yoey's off about 8 now, I think. So what absurd handicap you got now?
I'm off 5.
But you got down to about 2, didn't you? At one point?
got last year. I peaked. I think got down to 1.4. But
What happened? Just let the foot off the gas.
People watch you. What you're doing with your ball in the rough now, or what?
Yeah, exactly right. No, I've just absolutely lost it. Different grass over here.
Different
Can't
grass.
adapt, mate.
Can't play out grain, like all the issues.
Yeah, I'm absolutely copping it, but we'll be back there.
Were you junior gun? Like, how have you got it down to there? Just natural hand-eye?
I played a little bit when I was young. I reckon probably the last sort of. I moved down the coast a couple of years ago because of COVID. It was right near my golf club. So I was able to sort of, after dinner and daylight savings out in Melbourne, go and practice a bit. So that was sort of how I got down.
Chiseling, Oz. Chiseling, as we say.
Yes. So I did come across your LinkedIn account, mate. Can you explain the fact that you've called yourself a strong media and communication professional? What is going on there? That is your self-description of yourself.
That is outrageous. I reckon I did that a few years ago.
What was footy not? You weren't sure if footy was going to work, and you're like, I'm just putting this
You
out
just got
there.
to cover all bases, Oscar.
I don't mind that. One other thing, mate. I've actually been giving you quite a few lifts at the moment because you're moving house today, believe it or not.
Yes, I am.
So, listeners, thank Jayden for coming here. Big day. What's going on? Moving places? Just got over here, establishing yourself in the Perth community?
Surely somewhere near East Vic Park, somewhere near the club, I would have thought. Where are you going?
Absolutely. I don't know if you've heard of the suburb. I'm not too sure what it's called. But Oscar has been giving me a lot of crap about this.
Which one is it?
Cottesloe.
Oh, very nice. He'll be a member at the golf club very soon, I reckon.
Must
It's
be
just
hard.
in a share house. Just split the fees.
There's like a share house, like 3 different mansions on the same block that he's staying.
How good. That's what stuff dreams are made of. Speaking of dreams coming true, can you talk us through your participation on the Talking About Your Generation TV show that we've stumbled across on YouTube? Have you had to discuss this much? How did you wind up doing this? Why was you drawing some of the worst we've ever seen in the show's history?
Yeah, that was probably the most scared I've ever been filming that. I think I was just like on the footy show a few weeks previously. I've got a bit of a party trick with my rude finger. It's just very long and it
Show us.
sort of
Look at that. It is so freaky.
Yeah, that's the normal sort of reaction.
Is it just that finger, though?
Yeah, oh no, they're all pretty long.
Mate.
You do
Yeah.
have big mitts, eh?
Yeah.
Monstrous.
Long fingers. But yeah, on the footy show, just not because of my actual humour, but because of my sort of appendages, I guess. I made a few people laugh. Dad made a fool of himself in the crowd. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, do you want to go on this game show? So it was like 7 comedians and me.
Good comedians.
And
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
I used to
supposed-
watch your show. It's good fun.
You're supposed to like deliver one-liners, and I'm just not that witty and things. So I was just very, very like nervous and everything. Luckily, well, like it was a bad thing, but turned good. What the worst thing I can do in life is draw. I just do not have that skill.
Did you know that's what you were going to be doing? on there?
No idea. Just randomly, like they just do it and like do all the segments, and you just volunteer and stuff. And the guy I was with, he'd done the segment before for Gen Z or whatever it was. So it was my turn. It was Pictionary. I'm like, oh no, here we go, because I just know how bad I am at drawing. And yeah, if you look up,
We do have a photo of it.
yeah,
Get online and check it out, guys. So
you look the
talking
video
about
up. It's pretty bad stuff.
So
your first hand looks like a genuine tree.
it's a broccoli. He's drawing a broccoli.
Yeah. Now the fact I believe I can draw a hand, but I don't know because the cameras are on. I just rushed it a bit.
Understandable, man. There's a
It
lot of
hasn't
pressure.
come out how I wanted.
The first time I saw this is we were waiting on Team Photo Day and we had some photo shoots we had to do and we were bored as anything, and Dom just goes to me, have you seen Hunty's drawing? And I was like, what are you talking about? And we watched the whole video. It is genuinely hilarious. Like if you're listening, go and watch it. You'll have a newfound appreciation of this bloke.
Hunty, talk the game on the weekend. It would have been one of the more unique games of footy you've ever played in, presumably. You're probably more better suited to it, being a bit of a fitness machine. You're like, don't come off, sweet. I barely come off anyway. But talk about how unique an experience that was and kind of what you were thinking as it all played out.
Yeah, for sure. You're definitely right. I have not played in a game like that. I think, it was maybe early in the third. We literally had no one on the bench left. So, I've never played a game like that. And then, we really sort of stood up in that third quarter, and they obviously ran away with it. But I was pretty proud of us guys, and I would have loved to seen if we all sort of stayed out in the park. But, very, very bizarre.
It was bizarre.
You enjoyed yourself so far at the club, mate? No complaints? You've fiddled in well?
Yeah, no, loving it. Everyone's been really welcoming. Liking Perth as a whole, it's a lot more laid back than Melbourne and more sort of coastal and things like that. So, I feel like I've settled in really nice and love living here and at the club as well.
That helps.
One of the main questions, mate, the headband that you wore at the D's became iconic. You got a West Coast one. Do you want to give us a plug? Who got that sorted for you? Like, do you have a website that you go to and they sort you out, or how did that come about? Because I've never seen anyone else ever wear a West Coast Eagles coloured headband.
Yeah. So I sort of did it a few years ago at Melbourne. There's a guy called Mike from Grand Headbands.
There you go. Thanks, Mike. Good plug.
Yeah, he just sort of made a blue and red one, and then I was sort of umming and ahhing whether to bring it over here. I was never going to wear those colours, but I was.
You wore a black one for
I was contemplating going back to the black one, but then I don't know. I think it was my old man convinced me. He's like, "Oh, it's your look now." I'm like, Here we go.
For those listening, the first game presentations, Hunty's old man was wearing a cracking outfit. What was it?
Yeah, he's gone the Hawaiian shirt.
West Coast
Hawaiian
Eagles
shirt.
Hawaiian shirt that you can get.
Way.
I think you can get at the team store, or something like that.
Well, he claimed that he came over here for an induction thing, just they sort of welcomed the new families in. At the end, they sort of were taking them around. They took them to the team store and almost were pushing them to buy something. And so he just absolutely panicked and just bought an Hawaiian shirt.
And anyway, when he got presented in front of his family's jumper, his old man's come out the front in a Hawaiian,
the Hunts are not doing well under high pressure situations right now. So we've got the D's this week, Hunty. That was a little bit of a reason why we brought you in here. What's the banter been like with a few ex-teammates? You're going to catch up with them maybe a couple of days prior when they fly in. Maybe some hangs afterwards. They might fly back. Talk to me about those relationships, where they sit, and the excitement about taking them on.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. I still stay in touch with a few of them, and I'll catch up with them when they're over here before the game. And I think it'll be pretty fun. I reckon there'll be a few little jibs in there, but nothing too serious. I can't imagine, but. It'll be really enjoyable.
Have you honestly had an assistant coach come up and say, give us something about it, or it's just AFL's not really at that level anymore where it's what inside info can you give that we can't see on any behind goals vision or whatever's going on?
Yeah, I think you're pretty much spot on. They do ask and stuff, but my answers are like, we were sort of already across that. I'm like, all right, well then why'd you ask?
Yeah, just for confirmation.
But there's little things you can sort of pick up. But like you say, there's so many camera angles, and they sort of tinker with the game plan every year anyway. So
you were having yarns with Lou Jackson on field. Are you going to catch up with a few of them after the game? Obviously, a lot of lifelong friendships formed in your time there.
Yeah, I think that they normally sort of fly straight back after, but I used to sort of get brekkie with them day before the game sort of thing. So I might do that.
Is there a teammate that'll just be an irrit on the day and be like, it's going to be my job to just hit him at every chance, or just bump him, or be an absolute pain? Do you think there's a teammate there that you could pick would do it?
I was trying to think of this. I doubt it with me. I don't know. I just don't have that sort of relationship. Just, I don't know, still in good terms with everyone. But it would be funny if someone does. It'd be intriguing.
Who would do it if you went to the Dockers and then went, I'm just going to get stuck into Oz the entire time?
Everyone. Jakey Waterman would be big on the lip to me. Like, Jake would be unbearable. Gov would probably give me a bit as well, because he'd probably be playing nearabouts to me as well if that happened. But that will never happen, so we don't need to worry about it. We've got this content piece. It's called Rate My Content, and we all bring in a story. Have you brought in a story for us, mate?
I actually believe it or not, I got worded up about this.
Yeah.
And I have forgotten.
All right.
I haven't got, no, I can think of the spotty. I'll just go what we've already talked about.
Okay, go on.
My party trick is my rude finger.
All right.
So whenever someone asks for a party trick or want to be amazed, I just give them the bird, which is great.
Yeah.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah.
And
is your camera still on, Thump? Do you want to give it to the camera? Look how long that is.
So that gets a few reactions. There's also some side stories with that, is that my sort of special ability is I can get into pretty much any vending machine. So if you like whatever is the bottom right of the vending machine, I can get inside.
Well, with your long fingers.
Yeah, because I got skinny wrists as well, pretty skinny wrists. So the double sort of edged sword there can get me into most vending machines. I haven't actually taken it on the streets, just the ones at the club and things like that.
What is the best thing you've got now of a vending machine?
Well, there used to be Coke Zero in the D's one, so that was pretty popular because the boys were watching the skinnies and stuff. So, yeah.
Oh, that's actually good.
They must, if they'd have knew that he was doing it, it's like, let's just put the aero bars in the bottom right. Like, just put the dog meat things in right so Hunty can't take them. But if you put gold there, it sounds like they're going.
But to be fair, they are improving. Like, there's more sort of barriers now. The new modern vending machines.
They've heard about this guy who's just been going around Melbourne suburbia stealing things from the bottom right.
But it's all right. I'll stay on my feet. I'll stay one step ahead. So we'll see what happens.
I can't wait to have a couple of beers with you one night and you're just going up to vending machines stealing me stuff. All right, Thumper, what's your content, mate?
Mine's not great. I just had a story. I was reminiscing about Easter. I want to wish everyone out there a very happy Easter. When I was about 10, we were planning an Easter holiday over in Rotto, and we packed all the goodies, all the eggs, and we had a Labrador Beagle at the time. All went to bed. Apparently, the Labrador Beagle started to get stuck into the boxes and found the eggs. And Mum came out, found the dog. Great guard dog as well, by the way.
Yeah.
She's like, what are you doing? Kick the dog outside. Lock the door, presumably. And then the dog's come over to my window and gone, predictable Thump, he'll let me in. Just scratch on the window. I'm like, what are you doing out here? Let the dog in and went straight back to bed. What do you reckon's happened?
It's died.
Nah, wow, it's hectic. Straight back to the eggs, obviously. Straight back to the eggs.
Yeah.
Mum's come out and gone, how has this happened? Got the dog, took it into her bedroom, locked the door. Anyway, that night, we got robbed.
No way.
Dog was locked in the bedroom.
Wow, there you go.
No security.
Yeah,
devastating. So, moral of the story, pack last minute. Don't be prepared.
Yeah, all right. My content is my dog, and I actually forgot something this morning when I picked up Hunty and went back, and you could hear my youngest dog barking, like going crazy, and she is a lot of work. So we took her to this behaviorals vet, and we're like, what's going on with this dog? So she's been diagnosed with ADHD, and she's slightly on the spectrum. So she's got mild autism and she's got ADHD, my dog. So we have to give her medication every morning and every night to try and calm her down. And every time we're going to take it outside to, like, say you're going for a walk, so it's classified as like a stressful activity. So take the dog for a walk, take the dog to the park, take the dog, having like lots of people over for dinner. You've got this other medication that you give the dog to try and calm her out. Have you guys ever heard of any other dog ever been given this? Because I feel like I'm being taken up a rift.
I have heard of dogs.
I feel like I'm being scammed out of money because it's obviously not subsidised by the government. This stuff is so bloody expensive.
Have you noticed a difference between being on the med and off it?
I reckon the daily one, you need to do it for 6 weeks until you start noticing every difference.
You're getting done.
Yeah. The other one's like, you give it to her and then she's like, looks like she's like asleep. Like, and you like have to actively try and wake her up. But yeah, it's been a tough couple of weeks.
Told you to go and see my vet, mate.
I know, it's been a tough couple of weeks for the Allen household.
Don't get a dog is the answer to all these stories.
Do you have a dog? Do you have a family dog?
Yeah, I did have a family dog growing up.
Yeah.
Get one in the shared house, mate. The golden triangle dogs are better than the average dog.
Mate,
all right.
My oldest dog, good. Don't disrespect the oldest dog, Lenny. You know Lenny. He's a good boy.
We love Lenny.
Yeah.
Lenny's got some big brothering ahead of him after that. All right, fan questions. This one's from a Jackson Nelson. Why is your nickname Burger?
Oh, it's a long story, but it all started, it was a school thing. It's just when someone sort of makes a mistake, like they trip over or say something that's just tries to like land a joke that no one sort of laughs at. It's just a Brighton grammar thing. We just called them burgers, like just a new bit, give them the big whopper sort of thing. So very funny that Jacko has said that because he is one of the biggest burgers I've ever met. But what happened, I sort of brought it to the D, started calling people burgers and just laughing at them.
Did it catch on?
And then, well, it caught on, but then they just started doing it to me and just ganged up on me.
So Uno reverse, that's tough.
Well, it's like how Hamish Brayshaw gets called Schumer because he knew Duggo's old man was called Schumer and he was walking around the change room calling Duggo Schumer. And I was like, no, that's Duggo. That is not Schumer. So then Hammer got called Schumer.
Stiff.
Stupid how the nicknames work around here.
I reckon there's going to be, this Sunday actually, there's going to be a lot of burgers sort of rolling around, I reckon. So be a massive burger off.
Go on, Oz.
All right, we've got one from Timmy H. Who is your most annoying teammate thus far at the Eagles? And stop looking at me.
Who would be the most annoying?
Like, genuinely, who'd you like? This guy's actually kind of annoying.
Well, I'm in a very weird pocket. Like, to my left, I've got Elliot Yeo and Elijah Hewitt. Both sort of feed off each other.
High energy.
Yeah, high energy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I sort of stick to the right with Dom Sheed over there. But
Low energy.
yeah, low, very calming. I don't mind that. But yeah, those two, hell for leather at each other.
All right.
What about from JWTB? Who's the toughest person to play on in the intra clubs?
In the intra?
Hmm.
Who would be hard? I reckon sort of the Greg Clark, Connor West, they're high intensity players, like sort of the rough and tumble as well. So I reckon those two would be a couple.
Okay, good answers.
I like it. I've got one from Byron.J1. Who's your favourite bloke at the club now?
Favourite bloke?
Yeah, who's someone you've just really connected with so far?
Well, I sort of moved in with Tom Cole when I first came over, similar age, sort of played golf with him a bit. So, yeah, sort of him, sort of the Alex Witherden, Dom Sheeds, those of the world.
Yeah,
Definitely not looking in your direction at the moment.
No, I'm far away. I'm just used to the list at the moment. You go, mate.
This is from Beck Lawn 97. Hey Hunty, love watching you play on your back. How does your headband smell after games?
Yeah, there's a bit of a whiff to that. But yeah, just take it in the showers, man, clean it all off, and
Do you actually?
yeah,
You taking the shower with you after the game?
yeah, I gotta sort of clean the sweat off,
A washing machine, no good.
put it out on the line. Oh, it doesn't need a washing machine. I think that's a bit too much.
There's some festy areas here.
I think that's a bit too much.
All right, the almighty Spizzle. What are your impressions of the club so far? Like, obviously different to Melbourne. What are the main differences you've found since being here so far? Or is it pretty much just like they're both football clubs, it's quite similar?
Yeah, sort of all the footy-based stuff is very similar. The training's very similar and things like that, and how sort of the structure of the days work. I guess biggest difference is probably being like a two-team town versus like the Melbourne sort of 10-team town.
More emphasis, more media attraction.
Yeah, I reckon I've done a lot more media here just because, there's sort of 2 teams to cover rather than 10.
Well, you are.
What do you mean, mate? You're on the talk about your generation and you're a communications master, mate.
Someone's finally looked at my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
All right. What about Darling Strangers Band? Your holidays in WA. Are you going up north or down south? You probably haven't had much of a chance to have one, but where are you eyeing off?
Yeah, I reckon the bye period mid-year, I'm eyeing off Exmouth. I'd love to sort of swim with the whale sharks, and I think that's the season for it. But then even the end of the season, I'm looking south as well. There's actually just so much of WA I really want to do. So I'm a massive sort of travel head, so I'm really looking forward to that side of things.
Awesome. Last one.
You go, mate.
This is from one of our long-time fans. This is from Thumperlicious. You can only keep 3 of these. Yeah, good on you.
That is him.
You can only keep 3 of these, all right? Beer, pizza, chocolate, swearing, coffee, streaming services, toast, running, chips, holidays. To you as well. 3 of them. You can have the list down the bottom there. I want you 3. Only keep 3, which means the rest are extinct.
All right, so one would have to be holidays. Like, you don't want to work all the time. So one would be holidays. I'd also have running because I need to run to do
You're
my job.
unemployed otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, if I can't run, I have no job, and then I have no money. And money isn't everything, but it is relatively important. And then I could live without chocolate. I could live without swearing if I really wanted to. Live without toast. There are other alcoholic drinks you could have if you got rid of beer, right? Yeah, easy.
You're planning it well.
Probably, coffee or streaming services.
Pick a face and go with it, mate.
I'll go coffee, just because every time you have a coffee, like it's I have 2 a day and I don't think about it, so I wouldn't know what would happen to me if I didn't have it. And most of the time having a coffee, it's like, I'll go with a mate, and it's a good way to communicate. It's
About friendships, is it also?
Yeah, mate, my life's about friendships. So
Sure.
Coffee, running, holidays.
Give it to me, Hunty, to finish.
I think it's pretty easy for me. I think it is just beer, coffee, and holidays. Not much of a sort of junk food man. I'm not a massive TV watcher, so yeah, I think holidays definitely one, and then coffee and beer.
No running, mate. Don't want to play footy anymore.
That's all right.
Mate, he's a communications major. He's got other things he can focus on in life.
Hunty, good luck this weekend to you as well, Oz. Thanks everyone for tuning in. You guys got to duck off to a meeting. Appreciate your time, man. And hopefully not the last time we see you in this room for a bit of a chat.
Ah, sweet. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, mate.